All right, welcome back. This is now episode 4 of Pacific Shores. Happy with the city? They're happy with me. 87% approval rating, going up in all 3 categories. Good. If you remember from last time, we made some changes to the roads. It all began because we wanted to get our water a little further away from our industry, and that led to this. So I do want to continue. I may not zone it, but I do want to continue the roads. Do want to keep an eye on this. Remember, during rush hour in the morning, and we're getting close to afternoon rush hour. We'll take a look and see. And I guess I should have looked at one of my earlier episode to see if those were moving trucks that were contributing to the traffic. I hadn't thought about that until just now. Well, let's go ahead and get we'll curve it. That should look nice, not bad. And let's see here, do I want another one? Maybe later. I want to give this plenty of space, but I can always add up, but I don't want to start heading in this direction. So I can put one there, and then one there. So, but we'll see. That was the one thing that I wanted to do. Let's take a look at they are getting ready to I think I want the taller buildings maybe to begin along here instead of here. I think that would look more in balance. Maybe these 2 roads here. So let's do this one. And like I said before, it's not about rushing. And I found that the times that I built a city and I rushed it, it wasn't as enjoyable. You look up and you've rushed through everything. What's the density here? Okay. All right, let's take so once again, power. We got plenty of power. Good there. Good there. Okay. Right. So they're putting out fires. Do have some. Looks like the health is the primary concern. Everybody is enrolled in school that is eligible. Okay, that's good. That's good. I checked that before. Approval ratings going up. City's making money from not only taxable income, from tax income, but also my specialties, oil and processors. Population is going up. Good. I do have available jobs. Wonderful. Let's see here. How much are we spending on health care? It's not bad. All right, we've got some things building here. Of course, they're building when it's nighttime. Roundabout looks good. Traffic looks good. And my delivery trucks are moving well. They can get into the city. And they have their own dedicated road. And the only traffic coming here is for oil processors and maybe an ambulance. Be nice when the sun comes up. We're going to start to get some additional taller buildings. And like I said, at some point, it'll be time to start to branch out. And we can gift. So we can send money to another city. That's one of the main purposes of the starter city. Build up money, and then you can send funds to another city, as well as you can send garbage and police, fire, health, transportation. If you're asking and wondering about the mechanic of another city purchasing electricity, water, sewage, I really don't do it. It never seems to work. So I know the promise at the beginning when the game was introduced was one city could be the city that produces water and electricity and sewage, but for some reason it just doesn't seem to work. It always seems to be an issue. So every city will have its own dedicated power, water, sewage. In the early stages, a new city can take advantage of a prior city's trash and fire, police, and health. But it's just there's a quirk, there's something going on with the game, and it just you'll get a notification that something's wrong with delivery of power, water, sewage. It'll work for a while, but then it'll stop. Nice, taller buildings. Kind of goes in phases. You start out with the beginning of the game, and everything is building, and if you watch, the episodes, you'll kind of see how it goes through phases. All right, we got some decisions to make here about this. All right, let's see here. So this can be turned into a suspension bridge. And the question is I'm pretty sure I want to do it. I'm just trying to decide, is my suspension bridge there coming into the city, or here, which is also technically coming into the city? Let's see. It's not bad. It's not bad. The question is now, is it too much? If we do it here as well, that might be overkill. Let's see what we've got here. That's not bad. I like the way it flows from here to that's. If anything, I'll get rid of that, but let's. And once again, if you were wondering how, so as you upgrade the road, and I apologize, I should have. I don't know if I'm describing things, but you can click on a road and you can go up or down. As you can see, I can go back down. So you click on a road. For example, this is a medium boulevard. So I can take it up to a high density. That's not bad though. I do like that. And I think because it almost looks like they're linked, I think I am going, and kind of divides the city nicely too. I think I'm going to stick with that for a while. We'll see. Wait, everything's lighting up. Fire service is slow. And once again, they may be complaining about I only see one fire. Let's see here. Yeah. So once again, they will complain. And you're the mayor. They're advisors. And I think they Yep, they were able to save it, it looks like. No, couldn't save it. I will say this is... And it's funny how it works. I mean, it's not horrible, but I'm trying to think of the last time I've had health issues. And they're not bad, but let's see. Wind. Ground pollution. Air pollution. Germs. You just never know. You know, there may have been one little thing that I did in this city that didn't do in another city. Every city has its own personality, if you will. There have been times where I look up and let's put down patrol cars. One person in jail. How many police departments do I have? Only one police department? Thought I built one. No, that was fire and health. So it would not be a bad idea. And actually, the high wealth over time, they're close enough. Let's see here. No, the blue doesn't quite. High wealth, what happens is with high wealth, their demands, they can be more demanding than the middle and the lower wealth Sims. So you can think everything is good and then all of a sudden get a notification that they're not happy. So let's take care of that because we need to anyway. So let's do health. Let's do that. Okay. And then police. Just like fire, let's not have the police have to worry about pulling out onto a... That works. Now try to keep the tax, because in all reality, I could fill this up with processor factories, but I really like to know that my budget, not only am I making money from my transactions, but my tax income is in the green. As the population goes up, that will go up as well, but I just like to, there we go. But everything is, and it's rare that I've ever played this game and not have this yellow and this yellow. I've been playing this game for years, and once again, if I can have the majority of my students, if not all of them, enrolled in school, and if I can see solar panels on top of the homes, then that tells me I'm doing something right. And this is about extra workers, and as I've said in earlier videos, I'm okay with available jobs. I'm okay with, and we may go through periods where we have to knock down a factory, but no jobs and people looking for work, that's when it gets difficult. Well, it's going to be really nice when along this road, oh, I didn't see that get built right there. So what's going to be nice is when this street is primarily high rises. And then the question will be, do I do the same thing here? Do we have two streets? So do we have high rises here and then multifamily here? And then I do kind of like this having a bit of a smaller feel to it. Let's get some people in. I think I'm going to make this a commercial area. We need more shopping. Let's see here. How's my shopping looking? Yeah, we need more shopping. See that? Crime has the upper hand, but it's not. And I wonder how many people playing this will see the advisor say that and panic. I know in the early stages when I was playing it, I would see that and kind of, but then again, I'm used to the advisors because I've played earlier versions of SimCity, and the advisors would say things like that, and then you try to respond. How's transportation? Transportation's dropped to 26-minute wait. Do I have bus stops everywhere? Especially in my commercial area. Looking good. Speaking of earlier versions of SimCity, I would absolutely love it, because I'll never say this is the perfect game. I have a lot of fun playing it, but it's not perfect. If the plots could be, 25, 50% bigger, I would love to be able to have a city that and in addition to, earlier versions of SimCity had I'm trying to think of what they were called. I can't think of it, where you could make adjustments. It'll come to me. Moving trucks. I'm sure somebody is watching who has played an earlier version and knows exactly what I'm talking about. No. Just trying to get me to build mega towers. I have the expansion pack for Cities of Tomorrow and Mega Towers. I don't know why, but maybe because it is, it doesn't look like a city that we're used to. It gets so far into the future. I don't know. And with Mega Towers, you have to be careful. It's they will start out helpful, but it is very difficult, I find, to keep people happy in Mega Towers. If you do decide that you're going to do a Mega Tower, surround it. So if you do if you do a apartment Mega Tower, surround it with commercial. That'll give you at least a little bit of an opportunity. But yeah, I really just every once in a while I'll do future, but most of my cities, I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time with the future, either the mega towers, the academy. I may do that every once in a while, and Omega. It was fun when it first came out. Ordinances. That's what it is. You could set ordinances, and for example, You could in SimCity 4, and I want to say, and also SimCity 3000, you could set no polluting or um, low traffic. I'm trying to think of what else. You could legalize gambling. There are all these different little ordinances that you could set, and they would cost money. But what would happen is they would start to have an effect. There was one for smoke detectors. If you set an ordinance for smoke detectors, your Sims would install smoke detectors, and that would help to lower the Fire Power Conservation Act, the Clean Air Act, um, a youth a youth curfew act. Now that I think about it, um, neighborhood watch, things of that nature. Just it would just be kind of fun. Just another layer of the game, just to kind of tweak some things. One thing that I would love that you find in city skylines is you can create neighborhoods. So you can, and I would love to, create neighborhoods where this could be a neighborhood, and you could set an ordinance for that area. But and one thing that I use for the health of my city is to have to tear down a lot of buildings. So yes, the advisors can say, "Oh my goodness, you got this wrong or that wrong," but if I'm not constantly tearing down homes, commercial locations, factories, then something's right. And then the other thing, once again, approval rating. That looks good. Well, for several episodes, I have not built anything here. Remember, I was thinking about putting my house of worship here. I've not done it because I kept saying, okay, we're going to put our extension to the community college, so let's stop talking about it. Let's do it. So you add that on, and now your capacity doubles. If you're asking about or thinking about the university, if you're saying, well, it looks like you're accomplishing it. So it's probably been years since I've used a high school. The only reason that I use the grade school is to get enough students to get to the community college. The community college, because the game does not look at the age. It just says you've got students in your city, and they will all go to the community college. The university is good for doing research. So that's what I use the university for. When I need to do research for something, and one of the things is the university takes up space. So it's not just the university. But actually, if you can see that image there, you see the university. It's surrounded by um, buildings that represent. I believe there's a an engineering school, a science school. I can't think of all the different names of the schools, but there's also dorms, and maybe we'll do a university in another city, but it takes up a lot of space. But it's definitely, if you've never done research, then definitely give it a try. And not saying that I won't, because there is something that I don't do great works that often, but that doesn't mean that we won't do one so that you could see how it's done. Um, when I do a great work, I do the solar farm. The solar farm, once you build that, it's going to provide electricity for the cities in the particular part of the region. If the solar farm provided, and not probably not good to do it at night, but if it provided power for every city in the region, then yes, definitely. But what happens is the solar farm, because as you can see, there's solar farm here, solar farm there, there, and there. So there are 16 cities in this region divided into 4 areas of 4 cities. So the solar power only goes would only go to these 4 cities. We may do one just so you can see how it's done. Um, a great work takes time and it takes a lot of money. I think the original intent, let's speed up a little bit so we can get the sun back up. The original intent really was the multiplayer and getting multiple mayors playing together, building a great work, sharing the great work. But once the multiplayer / online component didn't work out the way they wanted it to, that which is one of the big reasons why I do it if it's just something that sounds like fun to do. But as I'm working on cities, I really don't focus too much on a great work. But like I said, I may do one because there may be individuals watching this who are thinking, how do I do a great work? So we might work on one. But really the focus is Pacific Shores. 2 things. First of all, I wanted to play SimCity. And second of all, I thought, well, if I'm going to play SimCity, let's share. And I'm not saying the way I do a city is the only way, but let's share some of the ways, approaches that I use to building a city. That's really what Pacific Shores is about. When we go to another city, that city is more often than not going to be tourism related. I may do a city that is an amusement park city, and then I may do a city that's a gambling city. Um, Sometimes I do them both together, but then there are a couple of things to do to make that kind of a city successful. We're closing in on 5 a.m. Get the sun back up. bus. 19 minutes. Nice. Population's holding steady. Is anything building? I do think I'm going to upgrade this road. Which one is it? Is it this one? Wait, this is already high and high density. And I think that's going to do it for my high rises. I like for the city to have some variety. I've done cities where the entire plot are all high rises, and it just, I don't know, it doesn't look right to me. So if this area is high rise, flanked on either side by some multifamily but medium as opposed to high density, and then come over and you get some low density, maybe a row here of medium density, some high wealth, and eventually start to fill this out. And I definitely, okay, so none of the houses out here, I'm not going to have a ton of people out there just from a health standpoint. Seems like it took a while to get bright. Normally the sun comes up at, or maybe it's just the angle. All right, let's check the good, good, and good. I'm happy with my suspension bridges. That looks good. 7 a.m. and we do have some traffic, but not horrible. And now that I think about it, I really want to get an idea of, so 7 a.m. and they are close to half of the garbage cans collected. Because there have been a couple of times where I forgot to check. You know where we haven't been in a while. I'm trying to think if we even checked on this in episode 3. How much oil do we have? 6 months supply. So as you can see, oil does not last forever. 6 month supply closed. Now hiring. Okay. So if you remember, if you go back to episode 1, the oil looked like that. A solid black. But as you can see, if you'll go back to episode 1, it didn't quite look like that. So we are depleting the oil if you do a city for oil, just keep in mind. Okay, now it's working. Just keep in mind that it will. So then what I do is I'll demolish this because it served its purpose, which is to get the city up and running. And I will possibly do one or two more processor factories, which is also good from a ground pollution standpoint. People going to worship. Yep. So 187 in attendance today between 6 and 8. So we'll see what the evening. And so it looks like they're going to worship in the mornings more so than the evening. I'll put a bus stop. I wonder if that would make a difference. Probably not a big difference, but it couldn't hurt. You can click on a building to get an idea of how people are doing, how they feel. Low land value. So what are they close to? So you see that darker color. This building is a little bit outside of that dark color. So now what'll happen though, in order to try to solve that, it's going to spread it just a bit, but let's give it a try. Let's see what we can do. Because right behind this hospital clinic, that might have a really big footprint. Is there a smaller one? There we go. All right, so give them time. And at some point, they should be happier about their land value. Great police coverage. They're happy. See? Land value. Land value is good. So let's see here. Just on the outside. Can I get something underneath this bridge? Because nothing's going to be able to grow right underneath the bridge. There we go. No shoppers. Oh, that's a shopping area. So you've got 2 commercial buildings. So can those 2 larger commercial buildings keep these individuals happy? See that? Don't like that we had low land value. So I've solved the land value, but now they're still kind of upset about it. And they'll stay upset about it for a little bit longer. But that transition, they went from we're upset about it to we're upset that we were upset about it. which you will see a lot of times over here where they will say we were upset that we did not have workers. You'll solve their worker issue, but then they'll be upset about it. As the buildings, as you start to develop taller high rises, for example, let's see here. Let's look at my land value. So what could happen is now that these are taller, you will start to see where they're not as happy as they were because there aren't enough people to satisfy such a larger location. So instead of two commercial buildings, what happens is you may have to knock down one and rezone this as residential, and you'll kind of start to play a little game of back and forth of this and that. So it's extremely possible that with high rises along here, you'll get a mixture. You'll get some people who are like, okay, we can't find shopping, or commercial over here that says we don't have any shoppers, and you'll have to kind of knock down and build up. Let's see, are they ready to start? Yeah, it's mostly green. So these, and it is happening with the commercial. They are that, just as I said something. So this is about to grow. Health is stabilized. See, it sometimes just goes through. I still have some sick people, but remember we had tons of sick people. We had people that stabilized a bit. Fire has stabilized a bit. Not that fire was ever out of control, because I have seen it out of control, that's for sure. I put a bell on top, yeah. I have seen it out of control, that's for sure. Let's see if they're still upset. Don't like that we had, yeah, so, oh well. And then they were about their land value, no shoppers going out of business. And we may look up and they may be out of business. Our business needs more tourists. I do find. Okay, yeah, this is really starting to change here. I do find that the tourism, whether it's a gambling city or an amusement park city or a city that has some historical, so whether I'm doing, theme park attractions or whether I'm doing a city, I tend to combine my, and the pro stadium is just huge. So a lot of times I'll stick with the expo. I tend to do my expo with gambling maybe some landmarks. I sometimes do a city that is, some historical or some attractions, and then I do a gambling city. The thing you have to be careful about with gambling is crime. Gambling does bring in crime. So when we get to that part, and that'll be a different city, you'll notice a different focus on more police. Looking good. Looking good. And once again, as a city goes through a change, the population can stay the same or start to drop down before it goes up. They're having to go from 2 lanes to 3 lanes. You know what? Let's see if that helps. But you can see that if I added another road, that 4-way, that's one of the, if there's one thing that I can impress upon, that 4-way intersection is, they do not know how to deal with a 4-way intersection. So as you look at my city, no 4-way T intersections. T intersections. No 4-way. They do not know how to, and that's really the reason why of the roundabout. Now, to keep things different and interesting, I switch up how I do. The roundabouts don't always look at the exact same. We'll try to do something. We'll try to come up with some slightly different ways of doing it. I mean, a roundabout is a roundabout, but try to do different ways of And the other thing, like I said, I do not mind a certain level of traffic. It makes it feel like a real city, because that is some gridlock there. Which is another reason why I'm not going to have too many roads like that. Is there anything? I think it's all because of see how trying to get out Each one of these buildings is its own intersection. Which once again goes to why I would not put anything here. And especially when I look at earlier YouTube and of course at that time people may not have known, but when I see an early version of individuals playing SimCity and the main road has houses and commercial and industry on it, and I'm thinking to myself, wow. Oh, and also I'll see videos where four-way intersection, and it's just nobody knew that was part of the early times. I did that. All right, well, sometimes I've noticed that you save, you log out, and you log back in, and a lot of these suddenly become full-fledged high rises. But I think coming soon, because really one of the things that I want to focus on is just helping and tips and tricks for the most part. This city is just going to continue to grow, but for the most part, in many ways, I'm kind of on maintenance mode, really. So, and we're getting good money. So I think it's soon we're going to send some money out here to one of these. And just start working on it, maybe bounce back and forth between the cities and start working on some type of entertainment. Maybe gambling. The amusement part just takes up a lot of space, so that might be a separate city, but we might do a gambling expo center city, maybe with a couple of landmarks. Yeah, city's growing. That's always a good sign when the city grows. A good sign when there's not a lot of things to knock down. And then, of course, approval rating. Won't last long, but look, we're gray all the way across. This will go yellow at some point. Education will go yellow. But, yep, went red. I was about to say this is good point to stop. That's good. How's education? Look at that. All students. Students enrolled, students not enrolled. Excellent. Oh my goodness. I keep clicking on buildings. Had I really known exactly what I was going to do, this and this, had I known, would have been, major, major, like this. It's clearing up. And that's another thing that I do. Um, you'll see something and your first instinct is to kind of think, oh no, something's wrong, and then it clears up. You got to give it time and course of the day, rush hour. And I like that the game does that. I like that the game, earlier versions of SimCity, the game was doing the calculations, and if it calculated that something needed to happen, then it would happen. But the traffic on the roads of SimCity 4 or SimCity 3000 was just there for graphics. The traffic really didn't mean anything, whereas in this game, things are going places.
Shimbo!
Even the people walking, which is why it is absolutely critical that you take care of traffic. Critical. Well, I know I've said it at the end of all of my episodes. I believe I've said it at the end of all of my episodes, but I'm happy. And I know I've said I appreciate you. I do appreciate you hanging out with me. But we have got a really nice version of a city the way I like to do it. When we come back, we'll see. We may do I do kind of think I want to start the process of transitioning from oil. Let's see, how bad is the pollution? Bad enough. The reason why I was thinking about maybe extending some residential, but I don't want to do that. So we may transition from crude to another factory, and this factory is 1750 an hour. So we would still be in the green if we did one more. I don't need another trade depot. I've got plenty of stored materials for one more, maybe two processor factories. That trade depot for my processors. So the infrastructure is in place. So that might be something that we'll do. Um, but I'm really thinking that we are really close to kind of going back and forth between two cities. because that's really what I want to do is, okay, how do we start a starter city? What are some things with a starter city? What are some things with a tourist city? So I think that's what we'll. My timing. If I speed up time, my timing is close. Most episodes I've ended with a sunset. My timing was a little off last episode. And that's another thing, that this game is just beautiful, especially compared to earlier versions of SimCity. That was one of the things I always wished for, was if the game could just be a little bit more, just that atmospheric. There's the sun. Just more of that atmosphere. And I think that's what this I think that's why I keep coming back to this. It's just that the atmosphere. There's my sunset. That's perfect. Actually, there. That's close enough. All right, well, another episode down. I hope this is proving helpful. Our budget, our tax income going up. I hope this is proving useful, and you're getting some tips and some ideas and some strategies on how to start your own city. And with that, we are going to save. And as always, as the sun goes down, I appreciate you joining me. I think I just did that. I've already done that. I appreciate you joining me, and we will see you next time.